I'm going to okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. We are going to go through questions and have Kelsey, Sarah, and Laura all speak on what it takes to be successful in real estate as a single parent. And then I figured we'd open up maybe the last 15, 20 minutes for Q&A. So whatever questions y'all have, they'll be happy to answer. And I want to take a quick moment just to introduce myself. I'm Christy Winfrey with Legacy Transactions. We are a transaction management company specializing in contract to close and also listing coordination. And all three of these wonderful ladies are our clients. So I'm going to open it up to them and let them introduce themselves and tell you all about them.
Hey guys, I'm Kelsey. I'm with Inked Real Estate. I have been in real estate for 8 years now. And Christy is my transaction coordinator. So that's how we linked up. She actually originally met her through KW when I first became an agent. She was a coach or on the coaching team there at KW. And then luckily we linked back up now later on in life. And yeah, I run a small team. I have 2 agents under me and just Christy working with me as a transaction coordinator as of right now.
Laura, you want to go?
I'll go. My name is Laura. I am with eXp Realty. I've been in real estate for 7 years now. I have a daughter. She's 11. And I also work with Christy's team for my TC stuff, and I'll dive into that later. But yeah, I've been doing this full time since I started pretty much.
Okay, I'm Sarah Cruz. I am also with eXp. I've been in real estate a combined 10 years, was a lender, went into commercial, stay-at-home mom, and now I'm residential. I have 3 kids, all boy. What are their ages? 11, 10, and 8. They're at the fun stage of life.
And they all play baseball, right? So
no, just one plays baseball, but the other 2 are in karate.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
I forgot to mention my kid count. I have 1 son and he is 10 months old.
Awesome. So what would you ladies, what would you say your routine looks like on a given day?
You want me to go first?
Sure, that'll work.
Okay. Well, for right now, I wouldn't say that I have a set routine at the moment because I have been pretty much staying at home with the little one throughout this first, 10 months. I've had a little bit of childcare for a couple months. For 3 months, I had 14 hours of childcare a week. And then for another 3 months, I had about 24 hours a week. And so really it's been challenging to set up an actual routine, but luckily he's entering daycare very soon, hopefully tomorrow, and we'll be able to get more of a routine in place. But definitely every day, because I'm kind of like stay-at-home mom and running a business right now, it's anything that baby needs in the morning. And then really just, we have a morning nap and an afternoon nap. So I'm having to really hyper focus those, 1 to 2 hours and get all of the high task items completed within that small time frame. And then again, once he goes to bed, but hopefully that routine will change. But right now I don't have much of a routine to share besides just really staying focused on those dedicated hours that you have and prioritizing those tasks that need to be completed today instead of trying to just do everything in one day.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm sure the task list is never ending, right?
Correct, but at least you can try to get the high items done first. Hopefully, usually that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's always been, and I think in the last year, my routine has really changed because before I think I was just kind of like winging it, like waking up, doing school drop off, and then just like letting the day like hit me. So it's really reactive. And now it's kind of changed where I'm like, okay, getting up at 6 a.m., wake my daughter up, tell her to get ready. Then I go for a walk outside during that time. And, that kind of helps because my phone's not ringing. It's super early in the morning. And then I try to get back home from school drop off by 8 a.m. so that I can be at my desk. And then 8 to 9 a.m. is like my high task morning priority items. From 9 to 11, I try to make phone calls. So it's like something I'm working on because I hate like calling people, but making the phone calls during that time period. And I've been really strict about not letting things interfere with that time period. And then between 11 to 3, I schedule like listing photos, appraisals, anything that I need to be at. I try to schedule it between that time frame. And then I have blocked off on my calendar from 3 to 5:30. Like it's blocked. So I can't do anything work related, meet clients during that time, because to me, I like to like my after school pickup and getting my daughter home, feeding her, doing homework, like that's really important. So I do that. And then after that, it's like evening and the day is gone.
Yeah, mine is similar. I mean, probably a mixture between Kelsey and Laura, but I just, so like in real estate coaching, they're like, oh, perfect daily schedule, like got to get it set. Well, as a single parent, like that kind of, I just learned, it took me a few years to learn that kind of just goes out the window because you get sick kids, just a wrench gets thrown in. But I do best when I start the night before. I plan my day, the whole next day, because in real estate, it's always different. You have different buyers, you might have different listings, depending, and you're working around other people's schedules. So I set that, and then I wake up early. I have this same morning routine every morning, and that is for me and the kids. And like Laura said, like I used to be really reactive too, and that is a way to go into your day and be proactive. So it's not, you're not just reacting and just, it is such a mess when you do that. So like when you start the night before and then you wake up early and get in a good mindset, and then, you know, like I said, there's a wrench that gets thrown in when you have sick kids. So like you have that task list and you get those things done, no matter what comes your way, and you take care of your appointments. And then, yeah, like then there's kids coming home from school and everything. But I mean, it can definitely be done in a certain amount of time every day. I think I built my business on 3 hours a day, just because all my kids were under the age of 5 when I started my business. And that was crazy, but you learn to be super efficient with that time. So
I like how y'all talked about, you know, having that morning routine too. And Laura, you've talked about like going for a walk. What are some of the things that y'all do for like self-care and to put yourself first? Because, you know, the business can be demanding, but your child also needs a lot as well. So you got to have time for yourself in there, as you know, at some point.
Yeah, for me, I love this topic because anyone who follows me on social media probably sees all the weird things that I do. Because for me, I have tried getting a massage or taking a bath or doing something relaxing, but none of that stuff relaxes me because I don't escape my mind that way. So for me, I have to do stuff that lets me escape my mind. And so I really love yoga, meditation. I love trying new things. The float tank. I know, Christy, you've tried that once before. What else did I do recently? Ice baths. Just totally kind of different wellness things and trying new experiences. For me, I'm a very active person. And so I have to do something that's fun, that intrigues me, that's new for self-care, opposed to like that let me unwind. Because that's just not a thing. That's not a thing for me. I don't unwind. I'm always wound up, but that's how I go. So yeah, it would be new experiences. Working out also whenever I have the time. I was really good about it a couple months ago and then kind of fell off the wagon recently. But getting back into that, I found that when my day feels out of control, because sometimes that happens, right? Just that things like Sarah said, wrenches get thrown, right? My day feels out of control. Going into the gym is a place where I gain my control back because I can control exactly how much weight I'm working with or everything like that. So that helps me get into a better mindset. Just having that one space where I can like regain a little bit of control of my day. But yeah, so that's what I do personally. Weird wellness things.
You did goat yoga at one point too, didn't you?
Yeah.
I haven't done goat yoga.
you
It is
haven't?
on my list and I want to do it, but I have not got to do it yet. Maybe we can go together.
Yeah, that'd be fun. The little baby
So-
goats, not big ones.
I guess for me, the self-care is really honestly like the walk, like the alone time in the morning or just like any time during the day. That was something I recently kind of had like a come to Jesus moment, like, because I noticed, okay, I'm getting really busy. I'm not going to go on my walk, and then the afternoon came and then I didn't go on my walk. And then it's like, well, now I feel like crap, and so going on the walk for me is like a non-negotiable where I have to do it because I'm listening to like my favorite podcast or book. And it's just a time where it's like getting out of my head and not worrying about like the business and everything going on with our market. And I think also one thing that I did recently start doing that has been helping a lot is like while I wake up and while I'm still laying in bed, I will literally just start naming things I'm grateful for, like before I get out of bed. And it could be the most simple things like, I'm really grateful for my pillow, or this blanket is really soft. I really like this blanket. So just little things, because I feel like it just kind of raises the vibrations and helps me start my day so much better. So that's kind of where I've really been focusing, like my self-care is like just more mental and physical wellness as well.
Yeah, I think I always I tried the massage thing and everything. I actually think I have a membership right now and I just never did it. But because honestly, I'm good at defending my time when I'm like really self-conscious or conscious about it. But I think I found the best self-care is going on a walk. I used to talk myself out of it because I wasn't running, so I didn't feel like I was doing anything. But what I found is like I'm not really walking for my physical health. I'm walking because it's like that's my time of meditation. But you have to remember to defend it because it's really easy to answer phone calls, answer texts, get emails out. It's just because you don't want to forget about it later. So that's what I've learned. Like no matter what you choose, I've just had to learn like you got to defend it and maybe turn off your notifications on your phone because you can still listen to really good things. And also one of the other ones is like, I'll set my alarm really early in the morning. And I finally just gave myself grace. Like, I don't want to get out of bed right away. So like, that's my time of meditation. Like I don't go back to sleep, but I do. I think of I think it's like my time to create. Like I'm just thinking of all the things and then my mind gets to go and I just think of things and that's super important to do. I used to not defend my time and I don't know, your life kind of just feels like it has no purpose when you don't do that. And then your business is stagnant and it's just, I think I flourish more when I do that. And it's like super simple. You don't have to have anything extravagant.
Yeah.
So.
It's interesting that you said like the morning is your time to create. We hired a person to come in and speak for our teen retreat that we recently did. And she said that your mind and your brain is more adaptable, I guess, in the morning. So if you're saying your affirmations, you're doing meditation, you're more likely to change your thought patterns if you do it in first thing in the morning versus like trying to do it in the afternoon. I thought that was really interesting.
I think that's really true. Anyone that follows me and my videos, I used to do like my business took off when I did the Miracle Morning. And it's like a whole process in the morning and it really helps your mindset. And when you're waking up unemployed every day, like you need to be in that right mindset to like get through your day and like be a good real estate agent. And I mean, because we all know like we're therapists and we're all the things. And so you kind of have to like start your day with that.
Right. Yeah. I was talking to another one of my agents the other day, and we were talking about how being a business owner and working for yourself, you do have to have that like more of a than I think if you're working for somebody else, because you can easily get up and go to work if you're working for somebody else, no matter how you feel. But like when you're a business owner working self-employed, like you said, you just have to make yourself. So that self-care and positive mindset the first thing in the morning, I think is super, super important.
Yeah.
So tell us, what are some things that, well, maybe what's one thing you wish you would have known and done in your early years of business, and now that you've been in business, so many more years, you could tell your younger self?
Work your database and set up your CRM properly. That for me has always been a struggling task. Not that it's hard whatsoever. It's not a hard thing to do. It's a boring thing for my personality type to do. I don't like to do that. I need to, have someone maybe handle that for me or whatever. But having a good CRM and a good database set up, working for you while you're sleeping, is probably key. And it just helps the organization, right? I will be honest, that is still something I'm working on to this day. So much so that I'm done trying. I'm just going to be hiring somebody to do it, because I finally just realized like that item and that task is not for me. That's not a good use of my time. But if you're a brand new agent starting out, or you're kind of getting back into the business and you have a very low database to start with, start now. See, like right now, I don't even want to look at it, because I'm like, I have like 4,000 things to go through in there and 4,000 people to touch. And I'm like, I can't do it. Like it's not my type of work. But really getting that set up and having that work for you would be what I would tell my younger pre-real estate self. And establishing boundaries too for clients and for yourself, especially as a single parent, is very different. Whenever I didn't have my child, I had just gone through a divorce. I was in this like hard hustle mode, like nothing, it didn't matter. I was working at 12 o'clock at night. I was working, saw an email come through at 3 a.m. and I'm like shooting it back just because it didn't bother me. But now I've had to really create boundaries. So that was hard for me to do. So younger self looking back is, it's okay to have boundaries within your career. You can still be a hustler and have boundaries and time slots to do certain tasks. But yeah, that would be my two: creating boundaries for my mental wellness, and having a good CRM database.
Yeah, I think mine are just very similar to Kelsey's too. Like I literally looked over and I was like, that's what I have. Because I'm like, the CRM thing, everybody shoves that down your throat. Like, where's your CRM? What CRM are you using? And it's like, it doesn't matter if you're not using it, and I recently hired someone to like comb through and put everybody on a spreadsheet that we can like then import it to a new CRM. And I'm just like kicking myself, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this would have been so much easier had I really maintained it years ago. So that's the big thing for me, is like do the CRM, and then also the morning routine. Like I wish I would have had routines years ago versus now I'm like, okay, woosah, like let's do this. So yeah, I think those are mine.
Yep. CRM. And like technology overwhelms me. I'm not like sitting at my computer is not my gig. Like I'd rather be out socializing. But I think like okay, so say you like you've been in real estate for years and you still don't have a CRM. Start like with just your top 50. And then even if you don't put them into that CRM right away, just work off of that. And like, if you need to put them in an Excel word, spreadsheet, do that. But and then just work, like add 5 every day. And I think that helps. But yeah, I wish I would have learned when I had more time. I wish I would have learned more about CRMs and everything it can do, how to use it. And so, yeah, if you have the money, hire somebody to help. But I would start, writing down your top 50, and that's way easier than you would think.
Mhm.
That's how I kind of started my whole list, since I wasn't organized enough to keep it. And
Mhm.
I would also suggest, if you don't have kids yet, like I see a lot of people without kids, like kind of goofing off, like spending these years goofing off. I would start your business like now. And then, so when you do start a family, like it's already a well-oiled machine, so it's a lot easier.
So, this might be kind of a loaded question, but, do you have a preference on your CRM? I'm sure we'll probably have people who have that question. I've always heard, whichever one you use is going to be best, but I'm sure y'all researched several of them.
Right. We had Wise Agent at the brokerage for a while. I liked it once I learned how to use it. So like if I actually took the time, I was like, oh, look at all these really cool features and stuff you can do. I'm not sure how it compares to others because I don't really focus on CRM as much as I should. But I know my favorite in the past to use, and we're starting to use it again now, is Follow Up Boss.
Yeah.
I think there's just more integrations that you can use with it. I like the aesthetics of it for me. If I have to stare at something, I do want it to look kind of pretty and engaging. So right now, that would be my favorite, is Follow Up Boss.
Yeah, same. I've used Follow Up Boss, and then EXP has KV Core, so I'm learning how to use that one. But I've had a great experience with Follow Up Boss in the past.
Anything for you, Sarah?
I used to use Lion Desk, but when I joined EXP, I moved over to KB Core, and it has some really cool features. And I just use the version that comes with EXP, and it lets you, if you have it set up right, it lets you know when a listing comes up. Other EXP listings, you can easily boost it and get, I hate to call them leads, but it's human interaction. And then once those leads come in, anything they do, it lets you know what it's doing. And I know a lot of CRMs do that. I don't compare CRMs. I just like, okay, KB Core's cool, like I'm going to use it. So it's been great.
Okay, awesome. So what are some things that you do to get new business, and especially with like this changing market? How are you shifting your business now to match what the market's doing?
Yeah, so for me, I think a lot of agents, I mean, if you pay attention to the market, you pay attention to the economy, we saw the shift was going to come. Didn't exactly know exactly what day, but kind of a time frame, right? For me, I'm really lucky to have not, and this is going to be controversial, I have not pigeonholed myself into like a niche market. And some agents do, and that works for them very well. For me, I've always been I work with everybody, right? I started my business and I really excelled in my business working with investors many years ago. And I've stayed in contact with all of those connections. We do a couple deals here and there. Through the pregnancy and the beginning with having the baby, I had too much going on to really work with investors because it's a lot more time consuming and a lot more back end work. So when I noticed, okay, the market's shifting, things are changing, what's going to happen here? I need to get back with my investors, because if there's going to be less buyers, there's going to be more of a market space for investors to come in and purchase and maybe get some buy and holds, things like that. So I've really been working my investor network, done a couple flips, have a investor special listing coming up next week, kind of just re-navigating to that space while still working with my normal traditional buyers and sellers. I mean, I work all over the map. I have that one for like less than 150 coming up, and then I have one for 1.5 million coming up. So really all over the map for me. Taking advantage of the different loan programs that are out right now and learning them and having conversations with lenders about that, like the 2-1 buy down. presenting that kind of material to buyers and presenting them with solutions, because just because the market is shifting and changing doesn't mean that it's not possible to buy a home or sell a home. Like at the end of the day, and I tell my agents this all the time, I said, at the end of the day, everybody needs somewhere to live. Everybody goes home to something, to somewhere, you know, and maybe they want to change that, or they want to get out of having a roommate, or whatever the case may be, but everybody needs somewhere to lay their head at night. That is your job. Sell them or lease them that space and find a creative solution to do that. So finding out different loan programs that work for those particular buyers is key, I think, educating yourself and knowing what's available. Because if you're just kind of going with the standard stuff right now, you might not have the right solution. Paying attention to some of the new construction, some of our bigger name new construction companies can have a lower interest rate, because they kind of like hold that in-house there. So maybe you look at a couple new construction options. What else did I have too? Really focusing on leases right now as well. There's a lot of agents out there that after they create a really sturdy business, they don't want to do leases anymore. And I get it, I do. But at the same token, if I do 5 or 6 leases in a month that, let's be honest, take 1 day of showings and a couple hours of applications, it's nothing. I can make the same amount of money potentially that I can make on 2 closings that month. So like just really knowing that rental market as well, putting those people in your CRM for 1 to 2 years later, because now guess what? They're buyers if you nurture them. Not if you don't. They're going to find someone else's friend's boyfriend, cousin that's a realtor that just started out to sell them a house. So that's key, is like building that foundation right now with renters is key for me, because they're going to be my buyers in 1 to 2 years. And I've always done that. And I like rentals. I call them quick and dirty money. Like it's so fast. You're just in and out, and it's easy, you know, it's super easy. And you get to help these people grow and achieve different goals and dreams that they thought that maybe they couldn't do. So switching up to investors, educating on loan programs, and working in the rental market are my 3.
All right, I guess, yeah, I think for me, I've always been pretty, like, I work with everybody. I don't really have a set niche, but I do have, like, kind of like Kelsey said, I think the people that are wanting to buy right now are a lot of like my investors. And so I'm tapping into that network. I'm also focusing on sellers, like the people that need to move because their house is too small, or like the school district, focusing on them. And yeah, I'm like, it's just, you know, it's been a crazy time. And I think like the education, that's what I'm posting on like my social media is I see agents posting a lot of doom and gloom, like, oh my God, the market's crashing, all this stuff. But like when people look up to us as a resource, we can't be like, oh, we're scared too. So it has to be like, okay, yes, like things are crazy right now, but we have to continue being that voice of reason. And they're watching what we post, even if they don't interact with it, they're seeing it. And so that's like my take is I'm always just trying to post like 7% versus paying 100% like rent, like, just providing information and value, because at the end of the day, the people that are serious about buying, they're going to buy regardless of what the rate is. And being educated with the lenders and understanding those loan products. And also, I'll admit, like when I first started, I did a lot of leases, and then I got busy last year. I closed about like 80 something deals. And so I didn't have time for leases. But like Kelsey said, like I think it was July, I did like 6 leases and it came out to like $8,000 in commissions. And I was like, like this is actually not bad. And it's quick money, So it's like, now I'm starting to kind of like, okay, we need to start marketing, getting these lease clients, like diversifying, because at the end of the day, doing 4 or 5 leases pays my bills. And, while I'm focusing on nurturing the buyers, because I am noticing like, the buyers now are starting to kind of like, oh, well, let's think about it. They're not acting as fast as they were, so it's taking longer to close the deals. And like you said, with new construction, starting that, like that's something that's like on my to-do list, is like visiting the builders, getting really up to date with like the incentives they're offering as well.
So the way I'm planning on getting more business, and what I've been doing, is more video. Because when your clients are doing other things, they're not eating, breathing real estate. So I'm just, I don't want to say dumb it down, but like okay, this is what you can do now. You can ask for closing costs. And if you want to use that towards closing costs, or you can buy down a rate, because the media is really freaking people out. And it's still like, we're still in a normal range, in my opinion. I mean, back when I was a lender in 2006, I mean, the prime rates were 6%. And we just had a bonus the last couple of years. Well, people don't know that. They're not keeping track. So I'm just trying to get more video, like shorts out. And then I have, real estate was like my number one thing. And it still is. And I'm still doing other real estate things, but I have, I'm doing things, I'm building passive income. So I have a couple of different avenues on the, that I haven't really talked about, but that's it.
I love that. I think it's important to have other revenue streams as well, especially when you're a single parent, because you don't have a spouse who's bringing in the income to help support. I know all three of you ladies are great with posting. How important would you say social media is in the success of your business?
So for me, it's very important. Obviously, it is one of the most important things and one of the easiest free things that you can do. So why are you not doing it, right? In real estate, we learn through coaching and different things, we're supposed to have 4 pillars for lead generation. And social media is one of my pillars. And I would say it's my main. I probably get, honestly, 80% of my business is probably social media and, referrals or repeat clients. But I am always on there. Probably people think I'm annoying on social media, but I don't care, because I'm posting about my family, about my son, about different things that I do throughout the day, and then about real estate as well. Because if you know social media, there's an algorithm, right? The more people that engage with your posts, the more people that comment, like, share, the more you show up on their feed. So I can guarantee it, probably no matter what time in the day, I'm probably on their timeline somewhere doing something. So I try to stay at the forefront of everybody's mind, and whether that be with just my personal life or with real estate, the way they think of me whenever they're like, oh, hey, we're thinking about leasing a house, they're scrolling through social media, oh yeah, Kelsey's an agent. Like, I'm always trying to stay top of mind to people on social media, because I really believe it's the one way that you're going to get the most eyes on you the quickest, by doing one simple thing, just posting. I really encourage my agents to do that as well. I think it's really, really important this day and age, because as much as the old tricks work, like going door knocking and things, which I still actually kind of like to do, like for Thanksgiving, I do it with some donation bags and stuff. But we're in such a weird world right now where people don't want to have a whole lot of face-to-face interaction. They want to be behind the screen. And most people are on their phones, on social media, an unhealthy amount during the day. So I'm going to be there too, letting you know what I do for my business.
Yeah, same. I'm on Instagram. Like that's like kind of my go-to. So I try to share, like, I share obviously like my solds and all that stuff, but I really do try to like give a behind the scenes look of like things you should know, things to look for, hey, this is what termites look like, or hey, just different things that I always just try to offer value. And I can't tell you how many clients or people that come to me that they're like, Oh my God, you just share so much. Like, I feel like I know so much about buying a house because of like just watching your stories. And they're like, when I get ready to buy, I'm coming to you because you just share everything. And so yeah, so I just try to really be like value driven. I'm not like buy a house with me, like that's it. No, there has to be like a value component for me. And I also share a lot about like my family, my daughter, like things that are going on. And I think it makes you relatable and people want to work with people they trust and like. So I have clients that are like, oh my God, your daughter's 11 now. Like, happy birthday to her. I remember when she was 4. And like, it's like, wow, they've been following me for so long that they like feel like they know her. Um, so yeah, so no, I think for me, social media is like super important. And even when I don't want to be on there, like I'm really big on my stories. So I have to be like present. I'm like, Laura, you have to do it because it's like, if I go MIA, people are like, hey, where are you? Because they're so used to seeing me every day.
Yeah, both of you ladies are so good at social media. Like even before we scheduled this call, like you two are like the ones I think of when I'm like thinking social media. I'm not wired for social media, which I think is an excuse. Like I can totally wire my brain, and that's what I'm trying to do. It really should be your number one priority, especially if you're in real estate or you're an entrepreneur. It's the paranormal or parasocial relationship that people have with you. It's like it is your free way to have people know, like, and trust you. So 100% agree. Everyone should be on it and really active. If you were like, okay, I can make 6 figures in real estate, change your mindset to like, and this is what I'm doing. I make 6 figures, being on social media. So like super important to be on there. I've always I've grown up just as like a super private person. So like I've really had to work really hard to post things. So, but yeah, people love to see kids and dogs and not just real estate. They like really need to know like who you are. So then when they're moving, or 100% of people know somebody that's moving, you want to be the one that's referred. You want them to think of you. So yeah, super important.
Right. Yeah, I think that's great. Absolutely. One more question before we get into Q&A. Well, actually, I do have 2 more questions. Y'all talked a little bit about knowing the financing alternatives. What would you say right now, like what financing alternatives are you using for your buyers that seem to really be working or seems to be really working?
Right now, honestly, I've been kind of just working on negotiating some seller concessions at the beginning of the contract, because we're kind of in this space right now where if it's the right home, not so much on your hot properties, meaning, brand new to the market, everybody wants it. But on the properties that have been sitting a little bit longer, there's more room to negotiate right now. And so getting those seller concessions so that my client can buy down their rate. I have a meeting to learn more about the 2-1 buy down program, which I'm really excited about. I'm actually going to be going out Friday and promoting it to a couple different places, bringing lunch a couple places and promoting it. Car dealerships, if you want to know where, because there's a whole bunch of people there and they all have a lot of money like we do. They all make about the same as like real estate agents because they're all in sales and they don't know how to, buy a house. So I'm going to go promote up there to them. And then the new construction. So those are the kind of 3 things that I'm working on right now is new construction incentives, seller concessions, and learning more about this 2-1 buy down and going out to promote it before it kind of infiltrates the whole market.
Yeah, same. My clients are doing a lot of like the 2-1 buy downs and then just being really proactive with like getting a large amount of seller concessions to cover the interest rates right now.
When you say alternative financing, I always think of like, besides like using a bank. So, but I guess, you're borrowing money from somewhere, but like my niche is investors. And so just asking for private money from people and just things like that.
That's definitely different. I haven't even thought of or heard about that one, but it's a good idea. I was on a call with a lender recently, and I know every lender has their own different products, so it's going to vary by the lender that you choose, but he was talking about, but I believe he said like a buy down with the arm instead of buying your rate down. And the rate on that actually seemed a little bit better. And it was like 7 years or 10 years where the adjustable rate, was actually quite a bit less, and it would cost the buyer less money out of pocket up front. And he was saying that with certain loan products, they could even finance in the cost to purchase the arm or instead of having like a fixed loan. So I thought that was really, really interesting. It might be something to reach out to lenders about.
Well, that'll be interesting seeing that kind of come back, like arms, balloons, all that fun stuff. Because we haven't had to, that hasn't been very prevalent, I think, in the past couple of years, at least not with my clients.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, was a lender back in 2006, and arms. I think it's an easy way for lenders to like sell their products right now, because they just need loans and they need business. But when you have a client come to you that's been in an arm and they need to get out of it, and then the rates are even higher, it can put them in a really bad situation. And we saw a lot of that back in 2006, 2008. So I don't know, do what's best for you in your financial situation. I would just, I don't really like to get into situations where I have to just like pray that like my situation doesn't get worse. It's like the unknowing. I don't know the last time that we saw rates at 2 to 3%. So you can always say refinance later, but you could be putting your clients in like some bad situations. But it's a good alternative, I'm sure, for some people, especially if you are an investor and you just like, you use that rate and then you're selling it, you're just selling the house after that. That might be a good option.
I think like y'all said too earlier, is just knowing the products and then also knowing your clients, like what their finances are like, and the lender is going to go over that as well. So hopefully in 2 to 3 years, they're not in a bad position.
Yeah.
Yeah, just educate yourself on all the different programs and kind of figure out what's best for your client.
Yeah.
What would you say is maybe 1 or 2 books or podcasts that have made like a really big difference in your life?
Only 1 or 2?
Just one.
So I have a list, but I'll just run through it real quick. I am an audiobook person. I'm not a big podcast person, but The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. I love that one. Ryan, is it Serhant or Serhant? I always say it wrong.
Me too.
Ryan Serhant's books, The Sell It Like Serhant and Big Money Energy. I love those. Fear is Just a 4-Letter Word by Tracy Tudor. This one's not like real estate related, but I love it because it kind of is entrepreneur related. Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, 50 Cent. Love it. So much to gain from that and such a different aspect. Clockwork by Mike Michalowicz. I can't pronounce his last name right. Great book. And then I like the Wim Hof method, Activate Your Full Human Potential. So kind of like my range of everything, but it all really goes cohesively together and like to just grow my mindset.
Love that.
I think right now, so I have 2 podcasts that I listen to like back to back, like I switch off every day. It's the Oprah Super Soul and then the Tom Ferry podcast, good for like real estate stuff. And then right now I am listening to it's teaching you about like manifesting. It's called Ask and It's Given. And I have really enjoyed listening to that book and just like the tips it gives you on like raising your vibration, your frequency, and just like thinking positive. So those are my 3 go-tos right now.
Yeah, lots of books and podcasts out there. The 2 books that got my business up and running was The Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents, and then the 10X by Grant Cardone. A lot of people don't like him, but he's it's pretty much talking about don't be a victim to your circumstance, hustle. Like it was very motivating, and I learned a lot from that. And then the podcast, number one podcast that I love, real estate related, is the Real Estate Marketing Dude. So good, has over 1 million followers. And then Gold Digger.
Oh, I love that one.
That's not Gold Digger, but it's Gold Digger by Jenna Kutcher. Is it Jenna Kutcher? Yeah. So she's really, I like her a lot. She's just business. It's not real estate. So.
And she talks a lot about like being in alignment with who you are as well. So I really like her as well.
I just jotted that down. So
yeah,
you're at
Kelsey,
home with Infinite.
you should post all those books on
Okay.
social media, because I don't know if Christy was taking notes, but
I
have
was
some
trying.
notes I need to use.
Kelsey had so many, I was like
I mean,
scribbling down.
having my AirPods in, and like when the baby's napping or when I'm doing dishes or stuff around the house, like as a single parent and someone who's staying home with an infant at the moment, just having that going through my ears instead of the cartoons playing in the background or the whatever, I feel like my brain's still working instead of turning to mush. So that's really helped me. If anyone else is, home with a younger child, is like having those AirPods in, that way you're still going, your brain's still going all the time.
Yeah, it's important to be in constant growth mode, because if you're not growing, you're stagnant and you're decaying. It's how the universe works. So that's really smart. I know I do way better in my business and life when I'm listening to those kind of things versus music.
Yeah.
Like when I'm driving and everything.
Well, they say, like, one of my coaches told me, like, the inside is a reflection of the outside. So if you have all sorts of like crap going on, like internally, it's going to show up on how you communicate with your clients, how you do business, how you attract clients. So that's probably like how, we're so focusing on like our, mental well-being and stuff, and just kind of like just shows up in the world for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we can get to some Q&A. Brittany's asked, how did you build your investor network?
For me, well, let's see. First, I had one good friend that was an investor. It just took one to get in. And we started working with a lot of flip properties. So I would help them purchase them and then sell them later. But I think back in the day, how I really got a lot of attention with investors is I used to do this Facebook Live. What did we call it? Oh my God, mom brain, I just went blank. Investor Diaries.
I remember when you did that.
Oh yeah.
Remember? And we would just be really, candid. I would not go into these houses until that phone was on live and everyone got to experience and see what I was seeing for the first time. And as we walked through, we also educated them, on social media, like this is what you could do here, or this is maybe how this home could get more value by knocking down this wall, etc., yada, yada, yada. And really a lot of people started to follow me that way and then notice, hey, she actually knows a thing or two about flipping houses. And so they started to reach out to me. I then teamed up with a lender at one point, an insurance agent at one point that did insurance, especially for investors. And so I went to a couple different conferences with him and threw some money down on marketing and different things. So I was able to get that database from that conference in exchange for showing up and helping out with those events. So just linking yourself in with the right connections and being on social media, showing people what you're doing and what you're capable of doing, right? That's how I grew it for myself.
Yeah. I think for me, I have a couple builders that I work with, and they all found me through social media, like just showing up and doing what I do. And they were just like, hey, we want to work with you. And then as far as like investors, like Kelsey said, it just takes one. And then that one will tell like his friend about you and like just like kind of just passes on. I know there's agents that go out to like investor nights, like those happy hours and stuff. I've never done that. I've just mostly been like, it's funny, actually, one of my best investors, he was a Zillow lead that came in on like a $40,000 house back in 2016. No one in the office wanted to show him the house because they were like, oh, that's trash. I met up with him because I was like, money's money. Like, I'm going. And he ended up being like the nicest guy. And from that 40,000, I don't know, I think I've like sold and bought like 15 homes with him. And now I'm his go-to realtor. So it's funny that like I always tell the people, like my boyfriend at the time was in real estate and he passed up on that lead, and I'm like, huh, like you could have gotten Jose, but you didn't. So yeah, so I wouldn't also like necessarily knock on certain people, you know, sometimes you get inquiries for like houses that look like trash, but don't knock them out because you just never know. This investor, that might be their first house, but they're going to do plenty more after that.
The way I got started, it was a learning process, but I was just trying to get my foot in the door in real estate, and I would ask banks for their REOs, and it panned out to one, but I, you know, the evolution of time, I ended up I started selling new construction to investors that wanted buy and holds. And so back in the day, just a few years ago, we used to be able to buy a house for $200,000, comes with all the warranties, and you could rent it out for 1% of the sales price every month, which is like a huge win. Now prices have gone up, but those investors have a ton of equity in those homes now. But and I feel like I'm going to be back into doing that because now there's a few communities that are selling for in the 200,000 range. They give amazing incentives. And so I feel like my investors are going to be back, but that's like Kelsey was saying, like to find a flip home, it takes a lot of combing the MLS and marketing. You can really build a good business if you are consistent with your marketing, and like people will come to you if they need to unload a property without even putting it on the market. You really want to be that person. But I found myself I kind of just fell into this niche where I just sold new construction. But there's communities that don't allow investors, and the only loophole is to pay cash. And then there's one builder that I know of that will offer your clients the world and then turn around and take it from your commission. So they look like they're winning, but then they take it dip it out of your payment. So I'm not steering, but I just take my clients to other builders. Lennar. So, other than that, I would say, I guess here's a good way. This is how I got started on that. Totally forgot about this. So when I was trying to build my book of business, I would offer my investors a 1% kickback, and then because they just use me over and over again to lease the home. And that's bringing in human interaction. I did not have to do that long. I built a really sturdy investor portfolio doing that. And then I went back to them, and I bring a lot of value. So it was like a no-brainer for them. Like I make full commission. And I'm renting it out repeatedly. So I have a good little thing going on that, but that's what I did. I have a hard stop at 2. I have to take my foster dog and she's being shipped to Oregon. So
Oh,
I know, I'm so sad.
thank you so much for being here, Sarah.
Thank you,
Thanks for having me.
Oh.
I love doing these things. So.
Absolutely. Kelsey and Laura, do y'all have time for one question?
Yes, I see it.
Thank you, Sarah.
Kristen, so I think a coach is definitely a huge asset. I mean, looking back, I've always had a coach at some point in my business. I haven't had the same coach, but each coach has really taught me different things. So I think so. I think it's great for like the accountability. It helps with like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Someone that's more successful has already done it. And just kind of like being a soundboard for you. I would say, as far as like, how do you find a good one? You really want to interview different coaches before you decide on like, okay, I'm just going to do this one. Because you want to make sure that you guys mesh well. And like, I know my first coach I had her for like 2 years. And then after a while, I started getting really comfortable with her. And then it was like, okay, now we're becoming more like friends and you're not really coaching me. So then I left, I went to another coach. That was really great. And then the dynamic started changing there. And then now I coach with Tom Ferry and his organization, and it's been great so far. But yeah, just like, I guess I would say interview different coaches, see what kind of style works best for you. And then if it's not working out, don't be afraid to speak up and say, hey, like, we're not meshing well. Can you switch coaches? Like, can we switch coaches to someone else in the organization and go that route?
Yeah, I think having a coach is important. So for a long period in my business, I was on a team. So I feel like I kind of had some direct coaching there from my team lead at the time. And we also did the Workman Success Systems coaching with Verl Workman. I still use a lot of that program. Honestly, I saved all the material. I really enjoyed it. It was very easy to do. It was videos that you watched and then tasks that you did. And so it's kind of at your own pace, which may work for some people better than others. And then right now, I'm lucky enough that my broker at Inked Real Estate was my real estate coach back at KW. So right now, utilizing her a lot. But the thing about coaching is you have to show up. Doesn't matter what coach you have, what system you purchase, what book you read, what you do, what, conference you jump on to listen to. At the end of the day, you have to show up for your business and for yourself and do the tasks that are laid out in front of you. My cousin told me the other day, she heard something good about coaching. Somebody said, do you need a real estate coach? And they said, well, doesn't everyone who plays sports, like, they have a coach? Like, every pro ball player has a coach. And so you do need to, and whether that's like in a professional one, like a Tom Ferry situation, or if you can't afford that yet and you're brand new to the business, just having that role model or that person to lead and coach you. Like, you don't have to do this alone. There's so many people that would be happy to coach someone and kind of give them a couple tips and tricks to grow your business. So yes, I do think having a coach is very important. I think at some point in time, maybe next year or a year from now, I've been looking into the core training and kind of researching that and seeing if it's a good fit. But interviewing, like Laura said, is a big deal. You want to make sure you mesh with that person. When I look for coaches, I look for people that have something that I want, whether that be a personality trait or, a lifestyle or whatever it is. Like, if you don't have anything that I want, I'm probably not going to listen to what you got. Like, that's just kind of me. Like, I want to, you have to be stronger than me in certain areas, and I want to achieve that type of thing. But yeah, having a coach is very, very important. So, but you got to show up to the game.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. If the people watching would like to learn more about you, where would they go to find you, and what's your Instagram name?
Yeah. Oh my God. Do I not know my Instagram name? It's the @ thing, Kelsey_TX. I'll put it in the chat. But Kelsey McGahee, that's my name. You can find me. There's not a whole lot of Kelsey McGahees, luckily. On Facebook, I'm more prevalent on Facebook. I would say my Facebook's more about my business. My Instagram is kind of more personal life. So either one that you want to follow would be great.
I'm on Instagram and it's @LauraMiranda_HTX.
Awesome.
Oh my God, ours is like the same. That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Christy.
much for being here and just all your wisdom. Such a great class.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So next month we are going to bring in a home warranty rep to talk about all about home warranties. And then in January, I'm bringing in a marketing expert who owns a marketing company to talk all about marketing. So definitely be on the lookout for that.
Awesome.
Bye guys.
Bye,
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Bye. Thank you.